Welcome to this week's episode of The Future of Work. I'm Seth, Mattison. We're here in the studio with a new setup. You see the empty chair. We've had executives from around the world in talking return to work. With COVID restrictions lifting, vaccination rates on the rise, business is back across the board. In fact, even the hardest hit industries like hospitality, travel and transportation here in Los Angeles, the movie and music industries, they're all ramping up, and it's prompting companies to bring back both furloughed workers and hire additional staff to meet new demand. Where 6 months ago, we were worried about things like unemployment and people not being able to work. Today, the challenge is actually getting people to come back. In fact, every executive that sat in that seat this week says they have more job openings than ever before. They can't find talent. And it mirrors the research. Job openings are at an all-time high, while simultaneously, unemployment levels are 50% higher than they were pre-COVID. Record job openings, record unemployment. This is a new era for the war for talent, and it is heating up in a way we have not seen before. Now, Hankin from Mckinsey coined the phrase the war for talent in 1997. 25 years later, something has changed. A power shift has occurred. Partially fueled, of course, by government support, giving people the power to take pause before making a decision. But it's also being driven by a workforce empowered by new technologies to organize and take stands against low wages and mistreatment from employers. And there's also new perspective on our collective ability to execute and deliver results remotely. If you're a leader today, regardless of the industry, you have to think long and hard about how you're going to attract top talent and the types of experiences that you are going to shape and create for the teams that you have in place. In this week's episode of The Future of Work, we'll break down 3 critical talent strategies you need to leverage to help win the new war for talent. Let's get into it. With the demand for services, experiences, and products surging, the need for talent is, of course, accelerating. As the general public emerges from a year of lockdown, there is so much pent-up demand for everything from going to the movies to buying a plane ticket. It's all exploding. And with all that need for talent comes a surplus of openings and opportunity, which is creating a tremendous challenge for hiring managers and leaders to woo talent and shape the right experiences. Listen, job seekers and workers now have the power to make real demands. We've not seen this in our lifetime. So what will it take to get people to come back to work or choose to stay with the organization? Talent strategy number 1, money. Good old-fashioned moolah. From signing bonuses to pay increases, when flexibility and remote work aren't an option, cash is king. In fact, ZipRecruiter labor economist Julia Pollack pointed out that employers are aggressively competing for talent by increasing compensation. She goes on to write that only 9% of employers on ZipRecruiter right now are explicitly advertising flexible work schedules. So if we're not offering flexibility, we've got to pony up with the cash. A couple examples of that: Costco raised its minimum to $16 an hour from $15. Walmart, the largest private employer in the U.S., is now paying its workers $15 an hour as well. Now look, striking the balance between profitability and attractive pay, it's always going to be more challenging for small and mid-sized operators. Right? Keeping up with the Walmarts of the world and their pay increases, that's going to be daunting for many small operators. The need to increase pay, it's going to require leaders to look at ways to streamline operations in other ways. Where is that money going to come from? But instead of simply saying, I can't do it, this is going to be an incredible opportunity to find waste and look for new ways to leverage technology to gain efficiencies. We're going to find those funds from somewhere. And the people that you do hire, they need to be empowered to leverage their gifts that machines can never replace. We're talking creativity, we're talking empathy, we're talking connection and innovation, the magic touch of human customer service. Better outcomes fueled by better pay. Talent strategy trend number 2, benefits and perks. Beyond the money and short of remote work lies an opportunity to support individuals, especially parents, with additional resources to make life easier and help advance careers. In fact, among all job seekers, ZipRecruiter cites 18% said childcare was their primary barrier to returning to work. You're talking close to a fifth of your people saying, this is what's preventing me from being able to go back full time. So, whether it's on-site childcare services, laundry and grocery pickups, gym and mental health facilities and support, finding ways to assist individuals that can't or simply aren't allowed to work remote will be critical. From simple support to extravagant equipment, all options must be on the table. Now listen, of course, Wall Street has pursued the latter. As an example, investment bank Jefferies offered its 1,000 junior bankers a Peloton bike or a mirror workout system along with a 1-year subscription. The ag division of German chemical company BASF offered leadership 1-year subscriptions to the meditation app Headspace. Here's the thing, you might not have budget to do that, but when you're designing programs and evaluating benefit options, one of the best things you can do right now is to ask your current employee population what they're struggling with and where they could use additional help. As leaders, we often feel this need to have all of the answers. We want to enlist our people in designing programs that will propel the organization forward. And then we want to run experiments with new offers. We want to test our hypotheses. Remember, you can change your mind and you can learn to adjust as you go. This will be an era of experimentation. But if we can't offer more money and we can't offer flexibility, benefits and services are going to matter most. Talent strategy number 3, flexibility. After 14 plus months of quarantine and restrictions, what workers seem to want more than anything else is the freedom to choose when and where they work. Autonomy and the trust to continue to perform at a high level while working from home, the coffee shop, a co-working space, or in the office. It is a huge desire. In fact, according to a recent survey by Prudential, 1 in 3 U.S. workers doesn't want to work for an employer that requires them to be on site full time, even after the pandemic is over. Another survey by Envoy, a maker of workplace safety tools, found that nearly half of employees say that they will likely look for another job if their current employer does not offer hybrid workplace options. As return to office plans are rolled out over the summer and into the fall, what I'm finding is that many leaders are taking a more traditional approach to flexibility in the office. I think the dream of a fully remote workforce, it's fading. And the reality of a pre-COVID world of work is starting to set in. Things will look more like they did before than they do now. And as a leadership team, if you believe your organization benefits from people being primarily in the office, I get that. But what I would suggest is 2 things. Number 1, ask yourself and the team, do we really trust our people to do the right thing? And if we don't trust them, why not? And number 2, if we're not going to allow for remote work at scale, how might else we incorporate flexibility to promote overall well-being and mental health? Just as an example, Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser banned internal video calls on Friday as a part of a program to help staff with healthier work-life balance. Fraser also called for a company-wide holiday called City Reset Day, simply a day for mental health decompressing. As this year-long pandemic has dragged on and the toll that it's taken on the psyche of workers, we have to support our people. To build a truly remote workforce, or at least a hybrid model that works to maximize the best of both worlds, listen, it's going to require the courage to change and the curiosity to experiment. Right? As the war for talent continues to heat up, those who default to trust, autonomy, and flexibility, I believe they will be the victor. And as the saying goes, to the victor goes the spoils. I'm Seth Mattison. Thanks for watching this week's episode of The Future of Work. Remember, the future is what we make it.